Oh, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, SandFam, and welcome. Welcome to today's show. We have on two special guests today, Mandy Wayward, and then, of course, Hodel Hill. I'm super excited to introduce these two wonderful women in the space. So let me, without further ado, get on over. Oh. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'll let Hodel start.
We got the dancing Hodel here.
Hill. That's me.
The dancing Hodel Hill. Right.
Yeah.
And Mandy?
What? Yeah.
I'm Wayward Escapades, also known as
go.
Mandy, also known as Wayward.
All of the above.
Yeah.
And so Hodel, what are you known for in the space here, other than being
What
a
am I
dancing
known
avatar?
for? Well, I do a little podcast called Non-Fungible Queens, or NF Queens. And then I'm a Sandbox fangirl. I'm just a huge fan of all the streamers, and I try to catch them all when I can and, give them my support. That's probably what I'm best known for in this community.
Just generally hanging out and being a part of.
Yeah, either being a pain in the butt or, a cheerleader.
Oh, goodness. Never quite a pain in the butt.
Debatable, I'm sure.
Debatable, right. It depends on who you ask, I should say.
Yeah.
And Wayward, what are you best known for in this space right now? What are you? Where are we at?
Currently?
Yeah.
So I work in VoxEdit. I've been doing that for a hot minute now. Over a year. But besides VoxEdit, I'm mostly known for being a goblin. Being
Our favorite goblin.
yeah, just being an all-around disturbing weirdo. But
I mean,
I I think it translates well in my art, so
all right,
I
yeah.
use it by
You definitely have a style, that is for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've been in the Creator Fund for over a year now. And I've been streaming for a couple months, but I'm better with the playing with little blocks than I am with the words.
Okay, no worries, no pressure, especially today. You know, this is just us hanging out, having a good time. We just want to see you show off some skill and see what we can't do today.
Heck yeah.
And Hodel, where are you normally heard? Because I know that the non-fungible, am I saying that right? Is it the non-fungible network, or what is it there?
The non-refungible network, or the
Refungible.
non-fungible queens. Yeah.
And then, of course, NF Queens.
Yes.
So, okay. Is there any specific location to catch those podcasts?
Everywhere. Wherever you find your podcasts is where you will find us, but you can find all the links through our Twitter, which is NF Queens Podcast. Should be pinned right to the top. And then you can hear from all the lovely ladies of Web3. So far, we've mainly had women on, but we're open to having non-binary people and possibly, you know, all the genders at some point.
Right.
We're just focused right now on women because they're an underrepresented group.
I'm with you there. I mean, I often do call myself a queen, but I don't want to take anybody else's spotlight. So I'm honest to goodness, in full support of what you guys are doing. So
Thank you.
I'm very excited to hear more from NF Queens. And I know Wayward, you were on an episode a while back,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was oh my goodness. How long ago was that? At least
Probably a month or two. at this point.
way more than that.
Really? I lose track of time.
We I think it's been almost half a year now.
Oh my goodness.
It's been
Okay.
a hot minute. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, so we've had a few
Yeah.
Sandbox creators on. Obviously, Wayward. We've had PandaPops. We had Amanda from Squigglyverse. And then coming up soon, our next episode is with Lozen from Tempest Studios.
Oh, right on. That'll be a lot of fun.
hmm
All right. And of course, SandFam out there, if you are tuning in just now, we do have Mandy Wayward, or Wayward Escapades, or Mandy, however you want to call her. She answers to everything. And of course,
Pretty
Hodel
much
Hill with us here. And you guys can check out. That Game Dizzy, that is Hodel Hill joining us in the background as we got Hodel's little dancing avatar next to Mandy's head. They were high-fiving just a second ago.
Oh yeah.
Hi,
we're
Game
gonna-
Dizzy.
We're going to go into some VoxEdit here in a second and maybe check out some assets that were created while we have these lovely ladies as our showcased guests tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. If you guys have any questions
you.
in the
Thank you
chat,
for having us.
make sure to ask them. So without further ado, let me share this beautiful monstrosity.
I didn't
So
know what
this
else
is-
to show off.
This thing is kind of infamous.
It's everybody's favorite.
At least from what I know of, is kind of infamous. So what exactly are we looking at here?
The Komodo dragon.
And commode as in like a toilet, right?
Well, yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you've
like
given...
I said, I focus on the grotesque side of life.
Right, right. So it definitely is a bit of a toilet bird, Alan, but it's more of a toilet dragon, if you will.
Well, yeah.
These are the kinds of things that you can do in the VoxEdit Maker.
You can make your
right now.
wildest dreams come true.
Whatever you guys want to create. I actually have never seen the top side of this.
No?
I
Yeah,
just
there's a
now have
little-
seen the ducky. I've never been a part of that before. That's amazing.
How can you not?
Well, I've never zoomed in on the Komodo dragon. There's always little Easter eggs. It is definitely a bathroom monster. Hodel, have you seen the top side of this thing? I know you've checked this out a couple times.
Yeah, I've seen this from all angles before, but
yeah.
you know,
How did I not?
I never tire of looking at it. It's a work of art.
How have I not
Plunger
zoomed in on
feet.
this thing? Of course he's got plunger feet. I assume he, of course, because it's grotesque, you know. I assume he.
Assume
I
the
mean,
Komodo dragon's gender.
it's okay.
Like it can be whatever you want it to be. It's a Komodo dragon monster here. What? Oh, it's toilet paper eyes. Everything here is toilet themed. I thought there was
Of
some
course.
flight of the fantasy at one point, but no, it is all something that
It's
you'd
all
find in the bathroom.
toilet brush tail. Like I don't mess around when it comes
You
to
didn't mess around with your
my
toilet themed
monsters.
humor
Yeah,
here. Yeah.
of course.
Oh goodness gracious.
I was
Alrighty.
actually hoping I'd be able to get suggestions from people in the chat as to what to make live on stream while I'm here.
Oh goodness. Yeah,
We'll
that
take
could be a lot of
suggestions
fun.
from anybody except Ice Pilot.
Anybody
Exactly,
but
yes.
Ice Pilot. Right, right. We don't call that a bias or anything.
Because of reasons.
Well, let's go ahead and start it off with something here.
Yeah.
So we want to.
sure.
I'm going to suggest a humanoid just to keep things kind of simple here.
Humanoid. Alright, I'll
And
start with
do you
the
want to?
combat.
So we've gotten to see a lot of creators throughout this week as I've been trying to highlight people, and you know, there's all sorts of talent, but you are super fast with VoxEdit. I would say one of the fastest out there. I mean, we're in this weird Wild West, and this is how you pull the trigger nowadays, is in this program. Your speed on control with the camera here, I imagine you're blowing somebody's mind in the chat, at least a few. I could not get myself to get user-friendly with these controls on that camera angle, and you are making it look super easy. How long did it
muscle
take to
memory.
be... I know, it's all muscle memory, it's all practice. How did you get it to be effective like that? Oh no,
Well, the Zoom meeting just ended, so we're gonna
I
have
see
to
that. I'll get that.
take care of that.
I'll get that open back in just a second here, but take it away though. How long have you been doing VoxEdit?
I've been in VoxEdit working with it for over a year. I started I want to say like April or May of 2021. I think
Phil says May of 2021.
May of 2021. Yeah. It sounds about right. But do we need to reopen a link here? Is that what's going on,
I'm
Conrad?
taking care of it here. We'll just go back through the Google Meet. Zoom wants to hate me right now. So it's going to be a little laggy for everybody out there, but that's fine. We'll get this adjusted in no time.
Same link or no?
It'll be a new one. I got you.
New one, you got you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for bearing with me. Whoop. You're going to see Wayward's face move a little bit. There we go.
All right. Trying to join that right now. But yeah, I've been working in VoxEdit for a hot minute now. And it did take me a while to get used to it. Oh, here we go. I can share my screen now. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm bummed that it's gonna be a little bit laggier.
Just
but
a little
it
laggy,
is.
right?
It just can't keep up with you. You're too
Oh
fast.
my word.
Really the fastest.
But
This is our first world problems over here.
such is life.
You guys are getting some live edits this week as we're figuring out our segments. Thank you so much, SandFam. You guys are honest to goodness. Best community around. Couldn't
For
ask
real.
for any better, as you allow us to be human, which is the most important part. But I can't dress up as nice as I want to for Smokestone Media out there. Hopefully you're tuning in right now over on YouTube. Always a pleasure bantering with them.
They want you in a suit, right?
Oh, always. I wish I could look as good as Joe all the time.
I wish I could look as good as that Voxel model that Wayward made all the time. Look at that smile.
It's a massive
always
smile.
happy.
It was very,
That's
very
my massive,
excited.
creepy smile that was my signature in the sandbox, just like looming over people and screenshots and stuff. It's great.
That's your signature look.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm with it.
Watch for it in the next alpha.
Oh no,
Alright,
you're
did we
in.
get
We're back on feed here. They're getting some live edits. I could do a transition,
boy.
but you know I'm professional. You can see me here. I'm the most professional.
Oh, good.
Don't worry.
Did we get any suggestions? Because, like, I, of course, am blanking out on what to make.
Somebody said to make Ice Pilot. I think that
Somebody
was
said
Maddox
to
of
make-
Furia.
We're gonna make an
like
ice.
a frozen pilot.
Oh,
Okay.
Maybe they
yeah,
crash
yeah,
landed on
yeah.
a mountain or something.
Oh,
Hold on, I'm gonna need a pilot's helmet for reference. And that's one of the things, like, definitely use reference pictures. Do not be afraid to use reference pictures.
That's a good tip.
Heck yeah. Nobody
And
just
what
knows
about
how to make everything.
Right. But what about those of you out there that are trying to do everything from, entirely like self-inspiration, right? Do you have any tips for people out there that, like, I know Gold likes to try and get in the zone to where they don't use any reference points or anything like that when they're creating. Do you have any advice for them when just generally doing art and you're in freeform?
Like in freeform? I mean, if you're just doing it from memory, then just don't be too hard on yourself and take your time with it. But I would not be able to do a lot of this without reference pictures. Like, I don't know what everything looks like. And just having, I mean, I don't copy, like, I'm just looking at, like, the generic pilot aviator hat, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And, like, I'm not looking
It's
at somebody else.
just a starting point, right?
Yeah, and then,
Okay,
like,
okay.
from there, taking my own spin on it. But yeah, we're gonna make Ice Pilot. So a frozen pilot.
So we're gonna be making a kind of should it be like a blue skinned frozen like dead person? Is that what we're going for here?
Heck yeah. I need. There we go.
Stanley
and
Wilson.
hotkeys.
Oh, and hockey? Sorry, say again.
Hotkeys. Learn your hotkeys.
Learn your hotkeys. Now, what do you mean by that? So there's like quick
Well, like-
commands?
Yeah, so if I press H, it should pop up for you guys too. Is it popping up?
Yes.
So like all of these. I mean, the only ones I really use are the picker and
I'm gonna blow this up
paint.
for all of us here. Boom.
okay, paint tool and the fill tool, like the bucket tool here. So those are what I use the most. So once you figure out what you use the most, like just memorizing those keys and being able to quickly transition to the things that you need.
Well,
It
where
makes
was that?
it
Where was that menu at in the VoxEdit
if
tools?
you press H, yeah, if you press H when you're in VoxEdit, then it'll pop up with all of the hotkeys. So you can
Okay.
quickly,
Kinda
or all
memorize
you have to
that.
do too is just hover over it here, and then it'll show down here. I think, is it? Or no, it's that. Oh, that might be a different. That might be. Oh no, it shows it over here. Is it showing when I hover over it?
It should for everybody in the chat, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like there's a quick way of doing it there, or like I said, if you press H, it just makes it easier.
Right, right. And you are using a completely free software that you can find over at sandbox.game. If you click on that Create tab, and you can go ahead and download VoxEdit. I believe in you, chat. You can get as talented as some of these beautiful gamers that we're getting on this stream here. Now, Hodel, you don't do anything as far as creation
That's
in
right,
the
I don't do
sandbox.
anything.
No, let me finish the sentence.
nailed it.
There's a comma there. Don't you? Oh, come on. Anyways, so you don't do anything as far as creation in the sandbox. You are purely like invested as a gamer and as like a community member, right?
Exactly. Yes, you nailed it.
Is there, so what is this, well, like the
So how
step
did I
away?
get involved into the sandbox? I guess.
Right. So you don't quite consider yourself like an artist per se, and you're not into the games as much as, let's say, myself, right, or Joe. So you'll give them a shot. I know that much, but you're not high score seeking. So what really makes you stay here? Because I'm over here insulting you right away. What makes you not run away right now?
The community is definitely what keeps me in the space. I mean, I don't want to get like emotional about it, but they're
Oh,
just
please do. We love to gush
the
here.
the best community in Web3. Like I kind of have two homes, Web3. I have SandFam and I have my NRN fam, and I split my time like a weird step parent, I guess. But definitely on Twitch, the Sandbox stream team has my heart, so I try to catch everybody that I can. And that's basically how I got started in the Sandbox space, was like
Right. Just getting
watching,
involved with streams and whatnot.
Alex and Andy and Panda initially, and then saving up channel points from Andy and getting myself a Nina, and I've like won a contest from Alex as well, and I've got a few Wizzy assets now. So in my real life, I used to also enter a lot of contests, and so it was a natural thing when I moved into the Web3 space, was like enter all the contests, get all the free stuff that I can. So the sandbox has been great. I've won, so many different assets and so much sand from the alphas and things like that. So I try and tell everybody how awesome it is. And not everybody listens, but one day.
Hey, we
One day they'll
appreciate it. For sure. And thank you so much for, always being there in the chats. And, if it wasn't for community members like yourself, we wouldn't be able to highlight you guys and be able to have wonderful folks on the show. So thank you so much for giving love to the stream team. We definitely see it. We notice you guys out there. And, this channel is shaped by our viewers, and of course the sandbox itself is still in alpha, so that is shaped by you as well. So thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. When I say we gush here, we like to gush, so please get emotional. And yes, Jonesy, I did do a bit of a trim. Thank you so much for tuning in, but
I think it looks awesome.
It's gone.
Personally.
I appreciate that. Every so often, I go through a little bit of a crisis, because I know you've seen me a few times put on my thinking hat, and I like to stroke the beard and, like get the scraggly hairs and, play around with them, that kind of thing. And there's nothing there to grab. So I just have that like imposter,
have, like, phantom
amputee.
beard.
There you go, phantom.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. The phantom limb feeling. But yeah, it's phantom beard. Totally. Like, I'm struggling. Okay, so let's catch up with Wayward here. So we see you just jamming in the corner while we're chatting. What have you done already?
Almost done with his face. Just gotta add a little bit more detail, a few more icicles hanging off.
Holy
of him.
crap!
Only got the one on the nose.
I looked away for
Looked away
one
for a second.
1 second, chat. Okay, so can you before you continue, like stop right there. You're too fast. You're too fast. All right, what have you done here with the face? Because I looked away as soon as, and I was paying attention to chat, and I was trying to recall some things. What? How? Okay, so how do you get to conceptualize just taking these pixel blocks and going, it is a four piece on top and then a 6-piece down below, and that's a mouth. How did you just go, this is how I'm gonna make mouths now, and that's my style?
I don't know. I just did it. No, I'll picture what I want to make in my head, and then I'll kind of sketch it out by throwing, like, I didn't add all the detail yet on this. I just threw the plain brown color on there, wrapped the goggles around, and then I start with the basic concept and then I work my way in with the details. I used to have a really big problem with trying to get into the details right away, but I spent a lot of time in multiple painting and drawing classes, and my teacher drilled it into my head for a long time not to paint the eyelashes before the portrait's finished. So, working on the big picture and then working into the details.
So we got a little bit of background on Hill in Web3, but you just gave us some info and beans into your past. So you've gone through and taken art classes. Would you consider yourself like an artist itself? Like, I mean, of course, everybody can be an artist, but are you trained? Do you have?
Well, I only high school. Like, I couldn't afford college, but like I took every single art class that there was to take, and once I finished them all, I took them all again. Like, I begged the high school to let me, and I was like, just slap the word advanced in front of it, and I'll take each one again. Like, and they did. They let me, and so I took drawing,
fantastic.
advanced drawing, painting, advanced painting, like each and every one, animation, like every art-related class I could take, just because I needed more. I love art.
Can I get some advanced gaming classes, please?
Oh my God.
You can see where my priorities are at. Okay, so you definitely have a passion for it then, and there's some dedication for the art in general.
Yeah. And
so,
animation.
And animation, okay. So wait, I've seen some of your animations, and we're gonna have to walk through that. But now, what are you doing with this like shading here? You got a tone that's just a little bit. I've talked about color theory before on this channel, and I haven't really gotten to show primary examples, but you've done this shading super easy, and we have some lighting effects going on, and it's already wild that you've done this in the small time that we've been talking. So what do you got here as far as like what our viewers should be looking for and like to take away from what you're doing in the background?
So it depends on the style of the game that you're going for. Like, I've worked on games that have a very simplistic style, little to no shading, and then I've worked on ones that have huge gradients that for their coloring, super textured, super detailed. So it depends on your style and what you're going for, and not everyone's art is going to look the same, and not everyone's art should look the same. Like, I don't know, I like people's different unique styles, and I'm boring in that I'm able to replicate most styles, but like my set style, my own style, one of my coworkers often says that I have a talent for making things look dingy, like purposefully.
Right.
Like making things look realistic and dirty and gritty. the way that they are in real life.
That's a
'Cause,
skill, making things look worn and
It
used, right?
is.
Yeah.
Shout out to K-Duck in the chat there, over on Twitch.
That's my co-host.
Heck yeah.
She's
NF
lovely.
Queens, we gotta highlight them again. But it is a talent to, have something look purposely messy or, grotesque, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that you can't really like replicate without having done it a billion times, or being kind of just, eventually you just kind of give up on it, and it's like, oh, okay, like I'm trying to make it look dirty and messy, but it's never going to look perfectly dirty and messy because that's the point behind it, right? So
That's
that
that's
may
the
have been
other
hard
thing.
to say, but hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down.
I'm getting you, but that's the biggest thing with art and with this is like not stopping when it doesn't look the way you want it to. Like you can't give up. Like you got to keep pushing through that and not start over constantly. At some point you just have to say like to heck with it. Just push it through and send it.
Right.
Because it's going to do more good for you out in the world than it will half done in a folder on your computer. Like, if you can get most of your work out there and it's like a C or better, like, it'll be fine. Don't worry. Like, C plus to A, you're good.
Right. Or, bring it to folks like myself. We can check it out. We can try and give you some little notes on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
especially with the Game Maker stuff, like bring it on the show before you're ready to push it through. Like, let's go. But as you were saying though,
Yeah, because it'll do more good for you out in the world than on your computer where no one can see it, because like you need criticism. You need people to see it and tell you whether or not like they like it, and you need to be able to accept the criticism and be able to change what you and what other people don't like about it, if anything. Or you might just send it and then you'd be surprised with how many people think that it's freaking amazing because they it's comparison. Comparison is the joy killer, because you'll sit there and you'll compare your art to somebody else's and then you won't post it because it's not as good as theirs. If I did that, then I wouldn't be here. Because like I used to look up, or I mean I still look up to PandaPops and Kamisazi, Alex, and if I just sat there and did the comparison thing, like, oh, mine's not as good as theirs, I'm not gonna send it, like, it doesn't matter, like my life would be completely different.
right. And to kind of segue from that, your life in Web3, you're entirely now dependent on Web3, right? You are completely separated
my
from
life.
It is your life. You're completely separated from
Your livelihood.
from reality as we know it, the basic jobs and things like that, and that's just through the skills and what we have in this VoxEdit, right?
Yes. I mean, I've also learned, with learning VoxEdit, I've also been able to learn other things that work with it, like Light Tracer and learning Blender. It's been a really interesting road. But and in Game Maker too, like I'm learning that as well. But yeah, VoxEdit has been what has really pushed my life in this direction. I love VoxEdit. Like, I will always sing the praises of VoxEdit because it is such an easy to use tool.
Okay.
It's the easiest animation program, and I've used multiple animation programs. It is the easiest to learn, the smallest learning curve of all programs of that nature that I have used. Like, it's incredible.
All right, that's some high praises, I gotta say. Now we do
I
have a
love
question.
VoxEdit.
We do have a question from chat directly for you. Game Dizzy says, how would someone who doesn't have a specific style define their style? Any tips?
Like, how would they create their own style?
Yeah, so for
It's-
instance, you have you always kind of put like you and yourself, Phil, Clever, whatever, always kind of have that like almost purposely grotesque, twist on things, right? Or the Garbage Pail Kids style, right?
Yeah.
So how would you kind of push somebody else into figuring out where they should be?
It's just a matter of doing it, and just a matter of figuring yourself out and what makes you happiest, what makes you laugh, or what makes you feel the most, whatever that emotion it is that you want to feel, and then just pushing that.
So essentially trial and error.
Trial and error, yeah, basically. But like,
Absolutely trial and error. That's life.
Right.
well, yeah, heck yeah.
I mean,
But
how will Hodel ever decide on which PFP to have?
I will never.
Exactly. Trial
I
and
will
error.
cycle through all my PFPs for life.
I love it. I mean,
and
we
there's nothing
almost
wrong with that.
I almost couldn't decide what I was going to put on the screen for Hodel until you had suggested the little animated Hodel that we have dancing on the screen here.
Yeah.
Oh, and I threw that together like less than an hour before we had to do this. I love last minute things. No, actually I don't. You can ask anybody. I hate waiting until the last minute to do anything.
We thrive on pressure, but hate the anxiety from it.
Yeah, she's like, "What do you want, static or animated?" And I was like, "I don't know, whatever's." No, tell me what you want. And I was
Actually,
like,
what you
"Make her
said
dance."
was whatever's clever. So
Yeah,
there you go.
threw that back at her.
Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to Space Bamboo and everybody's cooking over there. They say that they have my chefs watching the stream as well. I drive them nuts with talk of the sandbox. That's awesome. Thank you so much for showing us the good love and tuning in. And hopefully I can be a little bit more entertaining for your chefs. Maybe they can learn something here. Hopefully we don't push them into a different type of passion. I don't want you to lose any good chefs there. But so we're moving on to the torso of our ice pilot. So you have the drippy nose. Okay. We love the drippy nose. He's frozen. He's dying. He's an ice pilot. He's stranded off in the mountains. What else are we adding to his chest? What would you do for a pilot? Are you going to do like a puffy coat, or what do you have suggestions here to like match our style?
So
Aviator jacket.
Aviator jacket.
I'm gonna do like the old. Well, I'm doing like an old style pilot. I'm just making sure my colors match up.
Oh, we have a first time chatter over here on YouTube. Phil Ferduin over here.
Oh my word.
Phil, how's it going? Phil suggests to use a parachute, to add in a parachute with a hole.
Parachute with a hole.
So
I'm sure that'll be easy to
We're
add.
certain of why he's an ice pilot now. It was an unfortunate event. Maybe he was tossed out.
It's getting darker and darker. Yeah, maybe he was tossed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you got too annoying. This co-pilot just said, "Get out."
Well, who would his co-pilot be? Does Ice Pilot have a co-pilot?
I do believe Ice Pilot's co-pilot is Yaser Beams, the Vision EX's wife. So, if you're tuning in right now, Joe, Brittany,
None of this is going to make any sense, but
we'll figure it out later. Gotta have that Top Gun jacket. Oh yeah. Vox Machina says lighter texture on the clothing or accessories because he's frozen? Question mark?
Oh, yeah, like, you know how it would, because it's frosty, So it would be, hold on. I mean, I don't have the... Making sure I'm not muted here.
It's a good color.
Let's see. Make sure it's not mirrored.
Okay,
But like,
you're putting dots on. What's inspiring you to put crazy dots everywhere? Like we noticed this in a lot of your work, and it just kind of blends into the background, and it makes perfect sense. But when you're zoomed in and you're working with pixels in pixel art, this looks insane. So what are you doing here? Walk us through your process.
so forget who
Terrible
just said it in the
dandruff, says
chat.
Phil. Terrible dandruff.
Terrible dandruff. No, so somebody in the chat who just said it that the clothing should be a lighter color, different texture because it's frozen.
Right.
That was
That's
Vox
actually
Machina.
Correct.
but that is a good idea. Because that would affect how the how light's bouncing off of it if there's frozen water crystals on there. So
Okay.
it'd be like, what if you think of the texture of something that's frozen? Like if you've ever, had an article of clothing out that you've worn outside and it gets wet and then it freezes again. Like it's got that texture to it.
Kind of a crinkle almost.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
Hard to explain.
we just went through that little bit of a tangent. How often do you find yourself stuck before you actually have a creation go forward, where we're thinking about minutia of how this gentleman flew through the air and is now frozen and dead, and how his clothing would be. So we went through a whole story to make this one asset, this one jacket. How often does that happen? And do you ever find yourself caught up from it? Or does it often help
Like
out?
caught up in the story?
Like caught up in the story, or does it help out to kind of walk through a different creative process?
It helps. It helps being able to envision the character and if I give them more of a story, it gives them more character, and then I can have that kind of translate through how they look. Although I did just realize I forgot to import the right palette, so you're gonna have to deal with me reskinning that for a moment, but it should only take a moment.
Now, what are you doing here by import the right palette? So what can you teach us here in that moment? Because this is something that's overlooked from a lot of VoxEdit creators. Now, you're importing the literal color palette, right?
Yeah, so I'll have, just to make sure that everything, matches up properly, I will select a specific palette, whether it be one that is made up by myself or another creator, or just the Sandbox official palette, which I don't know if it's a public thing or not. If that palette's been publicly released or not, that would be a question for
Whether or not it's a default palette.
Yeah, I mean it is technically a default palette.
It's not really public, says Game Dizzy.
No, it's not. I mean, I don't know. That would not be a question for me, but I use that palette a lot.
Okay,
Anywho,
so
yeah.
with the where did you end up hitting that import tool there? That was right over your palette itself.
Yeah, right over here, the 3 lines, save, load, and new. So if you make a palette that you really like, that you want to be able to reuse for another asset, or if you want to be able to use it for another VXM in that asset, then you would save your palette and then load it back in on the other VXMs. That way you don't have to sit there copying and pasting the hex number over and over again.
Right. I only wanted to highlight that because it's incredibly useful for new Vox editors out there.
Yeah, it is. For sure.
And of course, Phil has a suggestion of Jack Torrance at the end of The Shining as a reference here.
Oh my gosh. The him all frozen with the
Oh yeah, he's
yeah.
all angry.
Yeah.
So much joy in that movie. It was a romance, right?
Oh my god. I am not a huge movie buff, but I do know The Shining.
You do know it was not a romance.
I do know that was definitely definitely
that was
not
definitely a
romance.
romance movie. Yeah, not a thriller in sight.
Great. We
Phil
finally
wants
got it the
me
right
to
color.
clarify for you that The Shining is a movie from the movie from the 70s, starring Jack Nicholson. At one point, he has an axe, and he says, "Here's Johnny."
I appreciate.
Goes through
I
the wall,
appreciate you and
or
everything you
door,
do.
rather.
Always
Does
keep.
Phil have any puns for us? He was quick with the puns the other night in chat.
Phil is always super fast with those puns, laser focused with that
We'll
wit.
have to get him on next.
I would love to have Phil on the show. There is so much easy banter that could happen.
We're getting raided.
Do we
By
have
who?
folks coming in?
Who's
We're just talking
raiding
about
him?
Red
I
Rum.
do.
Oh yeah,
Talking
Petio.
about Kay.
Oh,
Golden
welcome
Boys.
in, everybody dropping them dun-da-duns. Let's get it hype. Thank you so much for popping in. If you're just joining us now, we have on two wonderful ladies of Web3. That's Hodel Hill. That's Hillary in our ears, in the
Hi.
ecosystem around us. And then, of course, the lovely Mandy Wayward off to my side as well. And Wayward is creating something in VoxEdit. If you're just joining us, we got the suggestion of creating Ice Pilot. Some of us are familiar with who that is over in the Twitch chat. They don't have quite a voxelized avatar, so this will be interesting. Maybe we could throw this at Ice Pilot and see what they can't do with it.
I would be honored if he wanted to use it for any purpose.
Any purpose? That's
Any purpose.
I am afraid of what Ice Pilot would do with
don't
anything
judge.
in general.
I don't judge.
And this is called community, friends.
Ice Pilot's putting in the "shut up and take my money" emote in chat. So
I love it. I love it.
I don't think money will be necessary. I'm creating this just from the pure joy that it sparks from within me.
Excellent. So what is clever whatever? What is going on? What is it? What's happening here? What projects are you about? What's happening?
So
What
clever
are
whatever
you?
it is.
Are you
What am
human?
I?
You're doing this so quickly. Clearly, Hodel is in Web3 already. She's been uploaded, as we can't see her, other than her voxelized.
I'm already in the metaverse.
Right.
Get on my level, people. Get good.
You beaten us to it. So what is clever whatever? We'll start with
Clever
that.
whatever is my passion, or me and my coworker Phil's passion project. We work on only the most grotesque, weird, and interesting things we can find. It's hard to keep our attention unless it involves farts and butt jokes or cryptids. But currently we are working on a Game Maker Fun project and a couple other game projects that have not been adopted by the Game Maker Fund yet. But we're working on. I'm trying to think of what I'm allowed to talk about. We're working.
You don't want to kill those
on-
NDAs. That happens often.
I
on
know,
the
I
show.
know. There's Planet Weekly World News. That one has been announced publicly. It's originally it was a old newspaper from, I want to say, the 1940s.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
sure
familiar.
if I'm wrong. I'm sure if I'm wrong, then Phil will correct me in the comments there. But yeah, it's basically the tabloids that, or the newspaper that tricked your grandma into thinking that they found Bigfoot, or a bat boy found in a cave, or
The Bad Boy
somebody's
is the
yeah.
most famous example, right?
Yes. Oh yes, definitely.
78 to 2015, says Phil.
Oh wow, yeah, I was way off. Heck, yeah, I was way off. I think I was confusing 40 years with 1940.
No worries.
Numbers, they're not my thing.
They go up,
But
they go down. Sometimes we got to be correct about them, but in this case, we won't worry about it.
not a
So,
big
you
deal.
know, you're working a lot with just weird things in general on that project. But I know you work a lot with the Fungi Kingdom,
Oh
Fungi
yeah.
family, and
So
we're kind of friends with Touche, right?
oh yes, of course. Oh my gosh. So that is a separate studio that I work for that does occasionally partner with Clever whatever. Um, but I am a member of Touche Studios as well. And I've been working with Touche for almost a year now. We were just talking about how, like, is it our work anniversary yet? Like, looking at the calendar. And the funny thing is, every person, yeah, pretty much every person that I work with, like, closely like that in teams, our work relationships and friend relationships all just started from me reaching out on Discord and messaging, say, I messaged Phil, and the first thing I said to him was, I think your avatar looks funny. I want to work on stuff with you, and then
That's
just
collab,
started
right?
working together. I messaged Touche, and I was like, I like your little mushroom dudes. If you ever need assets, let me know. And then he's like, well, now that you mention it, I do. So you don't know
Okay.
if you don't try when it comes to reaching out to people. Like, don't be afraid to. That's how I've gotten most of the jobs I've gotten.
It's just by simply asking and going, what's
Just
the
by
worst that could
asking.
happen, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know if you don't try. That was like my motto at first. Like when I first started all of this, like getting into the sandbox, I was like, well, the only way it won't happen for sure is if I don't try. So, and then I tried, and then it happened, and I was like, whoa, now I have to do the thing.
Ah, crap, I didn't think this far ahead.
No, but it's been great. It's been absolutely amazing, and I love it. I love working with Touche. I love working with Phil. I love this community. Like, I know it's oversaid all the time, but it really is such an amazing community. I would not be able to do this right now if it wasn't for how absolutely amazing the people in this community are. Because I used to be, and still kind of am, a very shy person and a very timid person. But just being uplifted by this community, I've been able to overcome that fear quite a bit.
That's excellent to hear. And, you know, that's something I keep getting as I'm trying to connect with you creators, is that you're trying to escape a sort of shell that Web3 is very easy to fit into. Whereas, you know, everybody wants things to be decentralized, right? We want to take away and be separated. And of course, you know, the option to dox ourselves can be a little scary. So, but more and more in the space, do we want to see people who are doxed so we can have some honesty in this Web3? So, thank you for showing your face.
Yeah, but I don't see any problem though with people who don't want to. Like
Of course,
of course, yeah, of course, but like
Thank you for that.
like our voice in the sky.
exactly. But no, because it's not about you know, that shouldn't be all that your identity is.
Right.
Your identity can be just who you are. For the first time ever, because of the internet, your identity can be more than just your face. It can be your reputation. It can be your work. Just all of
It
that.
could be a bear in a Hawaiian shirt.
It can be a bear in a Hawaiian shirt.
Shout out Game
It could
Dizzy.
be a wolf in a tuxedo.
What's
whatever
up,
you
Be
want.
SK,
what
SSK
you want to
Wolf?
be.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have, you know, we keep going back to that tweet where, you know, Seb was going, whatever you want to be, why do we want to be human? You know, or I just want to be a fart in a jar, as Gold 24K says. I'm with it. You know, let's be whatever we want to be. I can't wait to get to that point in the sandbox to where any avatar is applicable, and I have, you know, just something wild and fantastical happening in these experiences. So, as we're coming down to about our hour mark, I'm going to throw out our giveaway for the Wizzy the Purple Enhanced Hat. Thank you so much for joining us on this chill evening as we watch Wayward create an ice pilot. So let me get this out here. What should our...
I'm going to give everybody else a chance and not, just so you know.
Oh, you're not going to...
Get your entries in, people.
You're not going to apply this time?
No, not this time. Be a little sus if I won.
Right here on the live. I'm just... yeah, right. You got this.
When form?
When season 3?
So that's on the 24th.
I know.
Thank you so much for asking. As everybody in this chat should know by now, that we are super hyped, 4 days away, and Monday we will have Joseph back, but I, of course, am going to pitch out to him that I'm allowed to keep doing this type of show right here, where it's a community spotlight, as the SandFam Spotlight, as I want to call it. Or whatever you guys want to call it. Help me name it. Give me some ideas.
I like community spotlight, but like, I wouldn't
Whatever
die
you
on
guys
that hill.
got. I'm not dying on any hill because I have so much work to do. I can't die.
No
I'm still
time.
pushing,
No time to die.
Still pushing that boulder up. You can't even stop me. I'm going too fast. When form. Let's go. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Go ahead and fill that out. Please only do it one time, as it will disqualify from you. It will disqualify you from winning. I swear I can talk. We do this for a living. Sometimes. We'll figure it out. Okay, so please fill that out, everybody. And I'm going to have to do this for Stanley. I remember reading it earlier today, Stanley, or earlier in the stream. And I'll make sure to read our winner as Randy Savage, just for Stanley. Community Corner, says Mr. Pizza Man. Community Corner, that's a good one.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Somebody
What's
to...
the human question this time around?
Oh, the human question this time around was, what question do you have for us?
Oh,
for my guests. Right. So give me something here. We'll try and answer your questions.
That is a good idea.
So you're going wild here. We got some dots on the arms. And once again, you were just kind of free flowing. The dots on the arms just made sense to you?
Yeah, like a seam. Like a fabric seam. Like where the stitching would be.
See, I would not have gone that direction. I would have just gone, why does this arm look so blank? And try and figure out what I can add to it.
A hush falls over the crowd.
Oh my word. Yeah, no, trial and error. Trial and error.
It's hard not to be silent while you're working.
Yeah, I kind of get in the zone.
Talk and concentrate. I mean, everybody's got a zone, like a pocket that they get into while they're working. And, you know, with the speed that you're going here, it's hard to keep up sometimes. So thanks for stopping and explaining some of it to us.
Of course. And I don't know if anyone's noticed, I've got some little tricks that I do to speed up the process even more. Like if one VXM is going to be the same as another one, like you know, have this and that look the same.
Okay.
But they're just flipped. I'll flip it, copy it.
Grabbed all them. We've
Come over here and just paste it back on. Like, I mean, it's the same right now because I already did it, but
right. Still, that's a nifty trick.
Yeah. But because when you just, time definitely matters when this is your livelihood, like getting things done without sacrificing detail or without sacrificing quality.
Okay, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? So you're saying that, so you're working a lot, so you have a lot of time that you're saying, you're concerned about sacrificing, right? So any job you want to be efficient because time is money, right? So
Oh yeah.
working entirely in Web3, do you have struggles with, daily goals, with trying to make those deadlines for yourself?
Yeah, no, it can be difficult. Because when you set your own hours, you will either work all day and burn yourself out, or find yourself goofing around on Twitter, memeing it up with the NFT crew, or with the community. You see it all the time with people in the NFT world. Oh man, I just spent all day scrolling, looking at you guys' memes instead of doing any work on this screen. Whoops. Like,
Right,
don't know.
right. So what do you do to combat that?
Oh man,
Or is it just a daily struggle that
it's just a struggle. It's just the daily grind. I will often try to just keep any distractions shut down when I'm supposed to be working. Like, keep Twitter turned off, keep notifications off, like, and just zone in, listen to music, tune everything out, and just stare at VoxEdit until I start drooling.
Now all the chat is putting in hashtag make Conrad an ambassador. Seb, if you're listening, help me out. What's going on? Regardless, though, back on topic, Phil over on YouTube says, I think waiting until the last minute and pulling an all-nighter in a panic is a really smart strategy. Hodel, what do you have to add to this? I know that you sometimes have to put in a grind for your podcast and whatever else you have going on. And, we get that up and down for our, I should say, energy levels. As yesterday you were telling me you were at like 30%. And today we're doing a lot better.
Yeah, it can be tough. My co-host is awesome though, and fully works around my schedule because she knows I have a life and a kid and all that fun stuff. So, we work together, and I have a separate space where I can go and record and fighter. So that helps with distractions for sure. Yeah, and obviously I can't have music going while we're doing a podcast, but if I was focused on something else, I would definitely need music.
Dang, okay. So just generally having some background noise helps out quite a lot. And then zoning out the world. Some of your basic at-home work stuff. Okay. So what I'm hearing is daily struggles.
Yeah.
Everybody has those daily struggles.
Right. I'm with you. So join us, SandFam, because we're with you right there. So come join us on the struggle bus. Maybe we can make it a little easier.
Distract you. Are you supposed to be working on something right now? Go do it. Or watch us instead, whatever.
Or hang out. We're not, whatever you got going on.
Lurk and work.
Working and lurking.
Just listen and do your thing.
I normally twerk and work, but that's a different story. It's my day job, if you will.
I think I saw that in New York City, actually.
Oh no! Do we want to touch on NYC? How was that a bit? Because I did get to meet both of you in person. It was wild. How was NYC for you? Just amazing. That's the only word you can sum it up with?
I've got so much I want to say, but I don't. I want to let Hodl go first, because otherwise I will just go on a rant. I will just go on a rant, girl.
Oh, for me it was just so awesome to meet everybody in person that I watched on Twitch daily basically for so long. So yeah, a little starstruck to meet Conrad and Joseph, and Wayward and Game Dizzy and Andy and Panda and Julia and Alex, and I'm probably forgetting people and they're gonna hate me.
There's so many of us, it's ridiculous.
I got to meet Batman. I mean, the real Batman from chat.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't get to hang out as much as I would have liked to because you guys were all working and I was just sort of hanging around as I do. But I think, the next time we get to all get together, we'll make a little more time for hanging out.
I want the next time the SandFam meets up, I want it to be just, instead of a big convention, I just want us to all chill together.
Oh yeah, and
Okay.
Touche. That's who I forgot. Oh my
and
god, Touche.
Yes.
Okay, so
Who has been talking about a Seattle meetup soon,
so what you're suggesting, Wayward, is less of like a conference, but more of just a celebration kind of, get together.
Oh yeah, that'd be like a no pressure way of hanging out. Like, I don't know how we would manage that, but oh my
Well-
gosh, I would hang out with each and every person in the chat right now, even Ice Pilot.
Well, Bjorn wants us to rent a house, so I'm not sure how well that's going
House
to go.
party!
Oh no.
I'm
Well-
not putting that on my credit card.
In the TOS of the Sandbox, you do have to be 18 years or older. So here you go. House party available. It will be
Someone says
new.
house party at Joe's.
Right.
Yeah, his new
Housewarming
house.
over at Joe's. That's what'll happen. You
And
just got it.
Like I said before we started this, when we kick down the door, we have to shout raid.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, that's right. A Vegas convention. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh,
Ferdinand
I'm in
is
for Vegas.
suggesting.
Dang. Could be fun.
But
But yeah, I mean,
back on the
it
topic
was
at
it was
hand.
so awesome to meet everyone and hang out. And like,
Sure.
I don't know, I learned that I should introduce myself as Hodel Hill and not Hillary because nobody knows who that is.
Right, I was like, oh, hello, love you, random citizen.
And then I was like, no, I'm Hodel Hill. I'm kind of a big deal. No, just kidding.
Well, my mind did explode, so it really was an instantaneous realization of who was in front of me, and it just went, like all barriers went down, and I was like, oh my goodness gracious,
Yeah.
and then that,
So-
gushing starts.
I mean, I was excited to meet everybody, but like particularly, I was so pumped to meet Panda. It's like,
She's a superstar, like,
oh my gosh, and she like I look up to her so much, and like when I first started doing this, like all I did was she was like one of the only people I watched because like I needed to know as much as possible about VoxEdit, and just she has a really good way of explaining things. She's an absolute sweetheart, non-judgmental. Like she doesn't. I've never encountered any sort of negativity when it comes to asking questions with her. She's just always happy to explain. And so, like, when I met her, I was like, oh my gosh, I am such a big fan. And she's like, are you serious? Like, I've seen your streams. Like, I love you. And, like, it was just I was starstruck, to use what Huddle said. Like, I was so excited. And then to meet everybody else, too, was just absolutely amazing. And I got to try jellyfish with you guys. That was interesting.
yes, Mandy here did in fact sit next to me, and I did pressure to eat some jellyfish, if I'm being completely honest. And it was very weird, I gotta say. My entire mouth went numb. Have you? Yes, that was my ice maker game dizzy. I tried to mute myself in time. But otherwise, Hodel, have you ever had?
Everybody's making ice tonight.
Everybody. But
Yeah.
have you ever had?
I've never had jellyfish, no.
So it's.
But I've heard this story so many times.
It's lovely, isn't it? As it
Yeah.
kind of stings in the mouth and it comes out the same way. So there's that little aspect to it. But, but as we loved meeting each other in New York and got together, and we got to meet Game Dizzy. He is in fact a bear. That's my canon story.
Yes.
I'm sticking to it. What do we got here? What have you done in the past 20 minutes? Because once again, we looked away for 1 minute. Now we got icicles dripping down this ice pilot. He looks like an ice pilot. I could recognize that he's a pilot and icy.
We're almost there.
And we're almost done. Oh my goodness. How
I mean,
did
we
you
could
do
use
this?
some more texturing on the pants. That is for sure. But
So
we're
adding
getting
these just little dots and whatnot here or there, just to add some extra texture, some, you know, to make it so it's not a blank space. Is that something you do almost every single time?
yeah, I mean, like I said, it depends on the style of whatever game I'm making it for. If I'm just making it for the sandbox in general, and there isn't a specific game that I'm making it for, then I will kind of divert back to what matches the sandbox, which is usually no more than 2 or 3 colors worth of texturing. In my opinion, I don't know. I've seen some assets that are different than that.
Right,
But
right.
it's just kind of the default for me. It's just 2 to 3 colors for texturing, and not too much of a gradient, because you don't want to drive yourself bonkers trying to make it super textured. But yeah, just trying to make it not so flat without making it super like too messy, like too detailed.
Okay. So we're trying to add some variety without mucking it up, right? Without trying to take
overcomplicating it.
right, without trying to take the focus away from what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Don't know exactly how else to explain it, but
Well, Phil in the
Yeah.
chat just said busy, so I imagine, you know.
busy. Yes, that's the word.
Right, right. Well, I am currently dedupifying our giveaway at this time. And I, of course, asked everybody in the chat a question, if they have a question for our guests. And, you know, we got some good questions from these guys.
Yeah.
A super funny one. I'm a pilot. Will you hire me? I don't think we need any pilots, unfortunately, at this time.
We're all stocked up.
We are all stocked up. We have the one ice pilot available at this time. And Wayward, would you remind the chat how long you've been in the sandbox, that you've kind of given it your 40 hours a week, right?
So I've been doing it for over a year. I think we finally figured it out. It was since May of last year. So it's been a bit. I mean,
Okay.
I that's when I first started doing it, but when I first started doing it full time, you mean?
Yeah. When did
Like
you
when-
turn this into your like official career, right?
Oh man. I can't remember. It wasn't too
No idea.
long after. It wasn't too long after that, at a certain point, like a few months in, basically. And my husband was in a job that he hated. He was the breadwinner. And after just a few months of being in this, I was able to look at him and say, like, quit your job. I've got this. I've got us. Like, watch the kids, quit your job. I will make the bread. And it's been like that ever since. We haven't had to have a supplementary job yet. And hopefully we won't.
That's
But
incredible.
it's
I
been,
mean,
it has been life changing for me. especially now I have the freedom. I can work anywhere. Like anywhere I can take my computer, I can work there. Like it's been incredible. Like I don't get as emotional about it as I used to because like I'm more used to it. But it really did change my life. I could not sing the Sandbox's praises anymore. Like I lived in a tiny little town in a tiny little state, and we were barely scraping by, and that's with a job that my husband had held for 8 years, and he was still making less than what I make in web. Not to brag, I'm not trying to brag by any means, but just
Still,
the potential.
It's an incredible feat to have happen, right?
Yes, and just the potential of everything in Web3 and the potential of Sandbox, and there's just so much there, but people aren't willing to take that extra step and put their whole, which I mean, I'm not financial advice. Don't quit your job and jump into anything. Like, it was the right time and the right thing for me, and I'm glad I did it, and I couldn't be happier with my profession now. Like I get to play with little blocks and I get to animate them, and that makes me happy.
Okay, so unfortunately, with the last 5 minutes of our show coming down to an end here, we didn't get to see any animation done for our ice pilot. Do you have any advice for animation wise when you get started on that end, once we've done building something?
So for animation, I try my best to think of it with real world physics. Like if I'm making something that falls and hits the ground, I'm gonna make it bounce a little bit depending on how much that object would weigh. Like something light would only do like a little boop, or maybe not even bounce at all. Something heavy would boom. I just try to apply real world physics. I definitely use reference pictures, reference videos. I'm not afraid to try to look at what I'm making. I don't depend on just my memory, because I would not be able to do what I do without a lot of reference pictures and reference videos. Although I don't knock anyone who doesn't want to use those resources if they want to challenge themselves to be able to make it without that. I personally could not, so I don't try to do it without. But like if you're making a creature, watch a video of like I had to make a dung beetle recently, so I looked up videos of dung beetles pushing dung. I looked up videos of them crawling. I looked up videos of them just existing.
Hold on, could you do research on dung beetles to get that detail in?
I couldn't think of anybody better to make a dung beetle.
That is some dedication. So you really are just trying to take just everything and pixelize it, but you're really using the most simple thing, like the simple one pixels in order to get a lot done. How can you still see? Like I can look at a dung beetle and I know how to, like, I can try and draw it, right? But when it comes to pixel art, it's difficult to get the confidence to go, this looks like I want it to.
Trial and error.
Just trial and error? Okay.
And starting, like I said before, starting with the big picture, working your way down to the details. Like if you just start right away with trying to immediately make it look like what it's supposed to be, instead of starting with a basic idea and then working your way towards that, you're not going to be satisfied with it, because it's not going to look exactly like it right away. Like, best example, I'm going to finish this later ice pilot and I'll send it over to you. Just a few more details and then it'll be good. But
that's
right
amazing.
now,
We're actually gonna send that off to Ice Pilot in the chat.
Of course. Oh my gosh. Of
Okay.
course. But give me 1 second. I'll kind of show you, I'll give you a quick rundown of what I mean with starting with the big idea and then moving your way down Don't mind my... I'm just gonna spam that. Okay. So... let's see how quickly I can do this.
We're all learning. What's happening?
All right, so let's say you want to make a car. All right. You're not going to be able to straight off right away see that it's a car. Like, we'll start with the body.
Okay.
Actually, there's a quicker way to do that. Make use of your tools. Make use of your tools over here. Don't just use the pencil. Use other things. I made a bad habit of just trying to use the pencil when I first started. Oh heck.
Now, why is it bad to just use the pencil? Is it because it's efficient to try and use some of these other like fill tools and things like that?
Yeah. But start there. Bring it up.
So you've kind of given us the most basic shape, right?
Yeah.
So you want to
Just
start
gonna build
with...
a car in like the last 2 minutes of the show.
Yeah, we have actually 2 minutes left. So
Let's see how fast I can do this.
all right. We'll speed run this. While you're concentrating on that, I do want to go ahead and highlight our winner of the purple enhanced hat. We're gonna get that Wizzy out there. I'm just double checking to make sure that they don't have a previous win. Hodel, is there anything that the NF Queens is looking forward to in the sandbox? Or that you are looking forward to in the
Well,
sandbox?
I'm looking forward to getting K-Duck into the sandbox, this alpha.
Okay.
And something that we're always looking for, and I always want more sandbox creators on. So, you know who you are, ladies of the sandbox. Reach out to me. Reach out to Wayward. Ask her. We're not scary. We're very chill. Come on, chat with us.
I loved being on your on your show. It was very relaxed, very chill.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 would do again.
It is very relaxing. I do often just take that latest episode and I make breakfast with it. So.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Now,
Right, so I might have.
Okay, so what do you got here? I've finished dedupifying and I have our winner, but what do you have?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I might have overestimated myself.
We're not powerful enough.
Yeah, I'll throw together a car real quick.
You got an axle? It's good.
So I wouldn't have thought to do these crosses for the axle, right? What the heck did you just do? What did you do right there? You just did some magic. You just made a circle.
Yes. Took 2 crosses, turned them. And
so
then
you took your bar, your brace here, your axle, and you just made 2 of them, overlapped them, and then turned it.
Yeah. And then I duplicated it.
You see that, folks? Time equals money.
Life is funny.
You can figure it out. Well, our winner of tonight's purple enhanced hat, a part of the Wizzyverse, you can wear it in any combat-based experience in the sandbox, and hopefully social hubs real soon as we can show off everything that we have. The winner is going to be the_FXGD. For the first time I've been here, a Twitter winner.
Oh,
Congratulations. Wow. And they won with the question for you guys. So any suggestions for a newbie who wants to learn VoxEdit? And what was the hardest thing for you to learn and overcome?
The hardest thing for me to learn was this part over here, the skeleton.
The hierarchy is what they isn't that what they call it?
Yeah, the skeleton or hierarchy was the most difficult thing for me to learn. Because I did not come from a background of 3D animation, but instead 2D animation. So at first I didn't know, like, oh, if I, if I had made this wheel without this one parented to it, when I go to turn it, like to animate the car going forward, it would move on its own without this one. And I didn't realize that at first. But like I said, watching PandaPops, watching other animators, looking up tutorials, and just working with the program for as long as possible, and just fully getting up in there, getting submerged in it, bathing in VoxEdit, just staying at it and not giving up because you didn't get it right away. Because if I could go back and redo some of my old assets, I would. But I can't, because, I mean, some of them I can because they haven't been minted, but there are ones that have been minted that I'm like, oh, man, I wish I could change that. But it is what it is.
Well, I have a ton of questions that I didn't get to ask you guys on this live stream. We'll have to have you join me another time, as it's been fantastic. We, went through this hour and a half so fast, and I'm still amazed at what Wayward has done behind me. It's incredible, and thank you so much, Hodel. I wish we could highlight more on NF Queens, and really there's not much more to say other than go check it out, guys. Like, go listen to the podcast. It's a good vibe. It's really highlighting ladies in the space in Web3, and you're gonna learn some things too, as there's a lot of great information coming from them.
It's not exclusively for women to listen.
Right.
Get in there. Listen.
Right. Trust me, I happen to identify as he, him. I haven't exploded yet, and I have listened to the podcast, so we just got this potty mouth in front of our face here.
Thank you so much for having us on. It's been a ride, man.
What a fun night.
It was a great time. You folks are fantastic. I do want to ask one final question.
Yeah?
What are your issues with the sandbox and this stream? What could we improve?
Oh man.
That goes for you too, Hodel.
Nothing. You're perfect.
Oh, you stop.
I mean, you trimmed the beard already.
Don't give me a big head. I will go out of control, okay?
More giveaways.
More giveaways. Okay.
Yeah. So when you're giving away the alpha passes, also give away the hats. We want it all. Just keep it coming.
Okay. Just get more involved.
You're welcome, SandFam.
More, I'd say the only thing, more ways for the community to be able to interact and involve themselves with what's going on. So I don't know how. You figure that out yourself, but there's the overlaying idea.
I like it. You just want some more community engagement. I'm into it.
More interaction.
Well, that's why you're on the show with me. How could this
well,
get
yeah,
any more
it's a step in the right direction.
Get out of here. I'm already beating you to that one. I'm into it.
Wow, it's been wonderful.
Okay, well, thank you so much. It's been a super chill evening. Bjorn suggests channel points, but once again, in order to get channel points, we got to work exclusively with Twitch. But as you guys know, we're streamed out to DLive, Beta, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch.
They get ethos points
YouTube.
Instead, right?
We got to get those ethos points. That's right.
I can't wait to hear about that.
I would love to be able to hand those out to people and figure this out. But it is going to be raid time, as this is the end of our time. Do we have anybody that's streaming the sandbox right now? So it looks like
Pix and Vox, but I think they're not actually there.
Pix and Vox is still AFK. They're just doing they got their AFK set up on their stream. I love seeing it. It's super funny. So it looks like that's going to be it for tonight. So what's our final project here? We got the ice pilot. So thank you again for joining us. You both fantastic. We want to know more. Make sure to go follow Wayward Escapades or Mandy Wayward over there on Twitter. And then please go follow Hodel Hill and the NF Queens podcast. Let me tweet that out again. And Wayward, you're streaming again on Twitch?
Yeah, I stream. I have scheduled streams every Wednesday about typically 7 p.m. Central Time, but every now and again I just spontaneously show up on there. When it's a spontaneous stream, I don't typically announce it. I just kind of sneak on.
Okay. Well, I can
We
dig
like
it.
the sneaky wayward streams.
Oh,
Those are the most fun.
Who doesn't love getting a little notification and going, oh, well, I'm busy now.
Aw.
So thank you very much, SandFam, for joining us. And, oh, DJ, we'll have to check out your Plurality VoxEdit contest entry on Monday when we have Joseph back with us. And we begin the new schedule as we'll be going 5 days a week. So no more Saturday for the GMAE until Alpha is done. So back to a weekday schedule. But all that does is free me up for the weekends. So we'll have to see what we can't do, SandFam. Maybe this will be our community spotlight on the weekend, as you are amazing out there. And don't forget, no feeling is final. If you are hurting in the mind and the soul, feelings will pass. I believe in you. You're stronger than you think you are. Depression can be beat. I'm right there with you, SandFam. Send me a message if you need to, but I'll play us away. Have a beautiful time. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye, fam.
Oh, I love this part where I get to play the music and we get to talk while everything's kind of like blank, right? Because they can still hear us right now. And I just slowly turn up that music. And then chat goes, oh, come on, you're going to steal everything from Panda? You're going to do the gag cutaway too? What's going on here? So shout out to Panda.
It's scary.
Panda never licks the mic, despite repeated requests.
It's very strange. I never understood. I was there for the start of that conversation, but it's so strange, so strange.
Wait, can they still hear us?
They can still hear us.
Oh,
Is this
jeez.
thing hot?
Oh, jeez, Rich. Oh, jeez.
I don't like it.
Oh, shake out those grooves. Let's get into it. You'd be dancing right now if we had it on camera. But guess what? Instead, we're out of here, SandFam. You're beautiful. Stay
Peace.
sandy.